Well, can you start sharing your slides first?
You mean the link?
Yeah. No, not the link. You can start just screen share your slide on Discord. Oh, not the link. I mean the YouTube. No, you share your screen with the slides on Discord. Discord bottom there, you can press the screen share on the bottom left, I think.
Discord. You mean I click again?
Yeah, you just no, you press the. Oh wait, you are sharing. Sorry.
Because I am sharing the
Yeah, close
entire
already.
screen. I
Share again.
share again.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Let me just record while I stream. Let me see if I can stop and start again. Okay, should I start? Let me see. Let me ask. Okay, maybe they haven't come in yet. Maybe give us some time for them to come in. So I'll start. I won't share your screen first. I'll start by currently I'm sharing the Rust Malaysia. So I'll announce first on the channels. Okay, so let me start. So welcome to Rust Malaysia and Rust Malaysia Meetup September. Today Thien Pow will be giving us a talk about the front ends. But this time, right, there's a new thing that we have here is that we now have the logo. You see now we have a new logo that's contributed by Wooly from Engineers MI. Yeah, so she contributed this logo, and there's another logo. So now we'll be using this logo for Rust Malaysia. And yeah, so we can let Thien Pow to start. Maybe now we can start.
I go to my screen. Okay. This is the QR code to this document. You can just scan and then go to this link, or I will copy and then share the Discord channel Rust Talk over here. Okay. Okay. I'm not an expert in how to say Rust UI framework yet, but I have started quite some time lah. As a hobby project, I have done something also. Wait, I show the code. Okay. Okay, this is the sample I have done in Rust Sycamore framework. Okay, this is quite nice framework. You can do a lot of things. Okay. But all this animation and components is not available. I did it all myself. Before going into this source code, we look into the reference that I check always. You can go to this link. Then you see there's a full list of existing WASM UI framework like Seed, Sauron, Dominator. I did talk about Dominator last time, and then Sycamore, Diosus, Munzun, Percy, Igui, Ice, and then this one we can zoom. Okay. Can see. Okay. This is the existing one. The like U is very famous. Seed, and then Dominator. Last time I did talk about this, and then Sycamore. This one will be the focus today and then Diosus, Monsoon, and then the other one is outdated or nobody update something like that. If you go into this one is no, this one is Sycamore. Okay. Sorry. This one I copy and paste the wrong one. Diosus Seed. This one should be Sycamore. Okay. You can see there are some library or some demo, but they don't have a comprehensive demo yet lah. Their website also done with their own cameras. This one, fine. This website also done with Sycamore. Like this one, but their website is not better than my code and implementation on what on their technology lah. Yeah, this one, like this one the thing I did with Sycamore. Okay. So you will see not bad, a nicer implementation of Sycamore sample code lah. Later you will see. And then like, hey, this one is you. What am I doing? This one is seed. Okay. Here got a lot of sample for you. Here got a lot of sample for you project also. You can see. It's not actually working. You can, if you are interested, you can look into their code. It's all available in the list lah. I have shortlisted this Sycamore. You see it yourself. This is the awesome list. And then this is the extra thing that we will talk about later lah, in a bit. Okay. In my opinion, are we ready yet in using Rust WASM UI framework? I think yes lah. Like company website, e-commerce, data visualization, or actually every app also possible lah. Like this one, I can do from scratch. I don't need UI components. I just do all by myself, and then it's actually possible lah. You can do lah. I use the framework, but I don't need the UI components. Like if you are using React JS, right? Usually people will look for like material UI, something like that, right? Yeah, I built the UI components from ground up using their framework lah, using the Sycamore framework. It's quite easy lah if you like the CSS, because the UI component are actually mostly dealing with CSS only lah. And then why it is not possible to use now, or not recommended to use WASM UI framework now, is that if you are trying to build a crypto project, a lot of the JS library, a lot of those crypto startup, they don't build any library in any other language. They only build JS library only. So you will have a lot of headache if you try to port over. Or yeah, it works, but you will have a lot of headache lah. Like even though possible, I say it's not easy to port in. You will have a lot of headache because the library is huge. If you try to use the library, then maybe you might spend a tons of hours trying to do the port in. Also, if you have a very short project timeline, and then no Rust ready cloud server like Netlify or those they not deploy, something like that. Those are very super efficient for you to deploy project. If you try to build a Rust project, you basically have to deploy your own server, your virtual machine, VPC, your cloud server, and then if you like when you are a React JS developer, let's say if currently you are a React JS developer, you don't build your UI components on your own, and you rely a lot of UI components, then it will be hard for you to start with Rust because they don't have any UI component library right now. And then also the animation, you basically have to do from scratch on your own CSS lah. Like this one, the animation I do, actually all I do from scratch on the CSS. Okay, from here. Okay, why I think Sycamore is currently better than Deosus or you, and why these three are top three lah. The reason for Sycamore is winning is FRP, faster, and then Doom, not VDOM, not virtual Doom, also faster. And then it has a sibling project, Pursues, this one. This one is very interesting. It's like Next.js, something like that. Signal, the for state management. Yes. They are exactly the same FRP. You see, this one. Dominator is FRP, right? And then Sycamore also FRP. See, this one, these two. And the FRP of Sycamore is actually very similar to SolidJS. If you look into SolidJS, something like that. Create signal, and then print out, and then yes, really similar to this, the Sycamore one. Quite user friendly. And then I want to talk about this one, the pursues. Okay, this is the pursues. P-E-R-S-E-U-S. Pursues is the sibling project of Sycamore. You see, it is using Sycamore lah. And it is the SS server-side rendering. Like the Next.js. And then another project that is very interesting now is Diosus and you. I actually don't really recommend lah. If you really like, you should look into these two only, Sycamore and Diosus. And Diosus is for React.js fans. If you love React, they have a lot of similarity, and they also have something like this one, mobile desktop in the roadmap lah. The desktop one, they are currently integrating with Tauri. This one, Tauri. They make it easy under the project lah. So you don't need to come to Tauri and then integrate your own for your own project. Like if you want to integrate Tauri with Sycamore, you have to do it by yourself lah. Configure all the things from scratch. Okay, and then performance. Okay, just now we talked about the Sycamore is faster than. You come to this slide number 6. Number 6. There's a link over here. Crossset. Okay, this is the Crossset. If you look into this, like Watson Benjamin is actually super fast. Can see see, from left to right the best performance, like the fastest is actually Vanilla.js, and then this one is the fastest, and then from here increment getting slower. See, this one is the Solid.js. Solid.js is over here. Then this one Wasm Binjan. And then you scroll over, and then you will see search Sycamore. Okay, Sycamore. This is not the latest. The latest should be beta 5, I think. Okay. Sycamore is a bit slower than Dominator. And then Sycamore, and then Sep. You see Sycamore even faster than Sep.
But slower than Vue.
Slower than Vue. And then faster than Playet. And then here you can start to see red, orange. All these are not really good performance already. You see React. And then U is here. You see got orange. All these are slower performance. Angular, you see, got red one, not good. And then you see React even behind. So if you really want to compare, right now Sycamore is much better than Diosus and U. But if you talk about the fastest UI framework, JS is still winning lah. WASM is still losing. Okay, and then come to see my code with Sycamore. You can go to this Mangle. I open source this one. This one I did it quite long ago, so I'm not really remember what I did. Quite long ago, 7 months. Zoom in a bit. 7 months ago. Just now I update the README. This project you will need Rush, trunk, and then that SASS. Okay. Let's say if you have already downloaded the code, what you need to do is just trunk surf, then it will be started, and then you can go to the project. Localhost
Can you please
9000.
explain them like what are trunk for and like the others?
Pardon?
Can you please explain like what like trunk for and the last one, what is that?
Trunk. This one.
Trunk, and you show three things like Rust below, then there's trunk, and then there's the other one.
Oh, this one. This one, Rust, trunk, and then last
Yeah, and that.
SAS.
But why don't you use the grass?
Because this one, how to say? It doesn't really use in the project, but it helps the trunk to compile. When I code, right, I don't really look into that SASS at all. It's just a runtime to help the trunk to compile the SCSS I have done into the shorter version. And then see all this one, right? If you look into the source, the CSS is compiled by the trunk. The trunk is using
Webpack, is it?
Correct. Trunk is like a Webpack. Yeah, see? The configure, and then set.
Can you please zoom in a bit?
Okay. CSS, CSS. See? It recommend to use the official .sass. So I have to use this one. If you have other SASS runtime, you can install also lah. But this one is most updated lah. Okay, let's talk about the code. Slide number 8. Okay, routing in the code. Okay, you see the structure. I do. Let's look into the structure first. The project structure. The source, and then main is the entry point. See, main rs. this one is the dependency, and then trunk. See, I point the trunk can help you to create the distributed version. It's all compiled over here lah. See, CSS, WSM, and then you look into the trunk, public URL, address, all over here can configure lah. Oh. And then also this one, index HTML. This is the key, the different for the trunk. You see, I configure the directory for SCSS for the trunk to look into. Let's say I configure it to point to www and then SCSS, www SCSS over here. See, I need to point to the index only, the first one. Then from here I use, then everything is used inside over here. Yeah, index. Okay, go back to this one. Okay, nothing. That's all. Let's go into the main RS. Okay. See, okay. Can see, okay. Let's say if you want to include the subfolder, you include like this, mod components. Inside here also I put the mod RS, and then inside here I need to include this file, right? From the mod, I include this one. If you are familiar with Rust already, this one is the basic. Then go back to the main. This is the entry point, and then render view. This one is my stat, my store, data store. The initialize function for the stat. My app stat is having dark mode, background, inner width, inner height. Because the library, the Sycamore framework doesn't come with detecting the inner width and inner height, so I have to use this to detect, and then assign it to the context, to the app stat. This is the way I do it, and then okay, let's look into the background. This is the HTML, the view is actually something like a div wrapper, something like that, but it is a component in Rust, and this is the context for you to pass in the state, the signal. This is a signal, the context. Then background, you see how I use the abstract. I use context abstract, something like that, and then from here I can call the abstract background and then get, see, the store background, this one, right? When initialize from the main, I got call initialize, initialize over here. go in, and then from here I load it. If I have stored before, if not stored before, I just use this one first lah, something like that. The asset. This one is the image. Asset image. This one the background cross this one. Okay, go back to initialize, and then initialize below is the struct. This is the stat lah. This one is the toggle dark mode. Okay. If you are familiar with something like Redux, right? They have the reducer, something like that, right? But this one is different lah. Don't have a complicated state management. The good thing of FRP Designer, everything is accessible immediately. I go to okay. They said this one toggle, right? Toggle light mode, dark mode. Okay, this one is the toggle ma. Let's say I go to the toggle page. Just now I go to the profile, right? Profile, and then this one index inside the preference part. Okay, if you look into the toggle dark mode, this one, you see on click input checkbox. If you are familiar with the HTML, this one label tag, right? Input tag, and then checkered. I get the stat from the app stat. How I get from it? Here I declare. I can get the store from here, and then
Is there like reactive? Like when the app state change, the check also change?
yes, it is reactive. You see, when I click, right, I toggle right? I toggle, and then I will set lah. I will set it. This one self.dark mode means this one app stat dark mode ma. I set it lah. And then also if I want to store it at the local storage, right, I return a small util over here. I also store it into the local storage. You see, this one websys local storage, right? And then if we have the storage object, then we call the storage set item. This one is the local storage set item. I pass in the set local storage. So I am not only can remember the dark mode setting. This one also can remember. So if I refresh, it's remember ma. If I set to light mode, refresh, it's remember. So it's reactive. Everything very fast. So you can see the design, right, is very ergonomic. Everything is like HTML, and then when you do the state management, right, everything is very straightforward. You just create the function, and then you create the app stat, then you can do the reactive signaling state management. Okay, wait now. This is the basic routing. I haven't thought about routing. Wait. routing. Okay, go back to main and then go to index. Just now we talked about the background, right? And then toggle. Now we come to the routing. See the router. You can have history also, and then view. This one is the thing I implement myself lah. You see this one. This is the nice effect I have on the slide in, slide out when you are changing the page. Like this one. See this one, slide in, slide out, slide in, slide out. The code is over here. You see, and then you can do a sync also. You can do your own timing lah. Then this is the animation to do the is in, is out. So when you click on the home at the Navbar, let's say over here on the home Bible, this is the press is go, where I show you the Navbar component first, the tab bar. See, this is the home Bible, love in action. It's over here, and then not profile. Man, and then index. Go in. Then home. Okay. Another thing, let's say if you have a JavaScript, right? You can do like this also. This is the trick. You can put in the script, and then you put in the JavaScript over here. So it's very convenient. Let's say this one, I have this one to detect the PWA, progressive web. See, install, this one install. So it become an app lah. Uninstall, remove. Okay. Okay, routing is this one, and then component. Let's say we look into a very simple component, something like that. This one, you can create a component like this, super simple one. Let's say footer, content footer. Then you just include the footer like that. Let's say if I have a footer over here, see, footer, content footer, just like that. Who is laughing? Okay, and then if you want to look into a super complicated component, I have a very nice component created. This one, toss. The toss component. you can spend some time to look into it lah. The TOS component. I have a really good animation also for the TOS component. Where is the component? Okay, let's say this one I create. See, this is the TOS component. I have slide in animation, and then you can cross it, slide up, something like that. Then over here, this one also can slide up. This one is the complicated one. Then the easier one, the search bar. Okay. You create the component like that, and then you include this one at another page. And then, where is it? Animation. Animation, you don't do the animation from the Rush lah. You just utilize the CSS. For example, this toss, right? I have all the animation at the SCSS, at the CSS toss. See, this is the animation now. It's up. You just utilize CSS to the animation. The transformation, toss up, translate. All these are the animation via CSS. Also, the CSS today is getting much better. Even all the forms, you don't really need to code in JavaScript already. You just use CSS, also can do forms. So we can simplify a lot of code in HTML and JS.
Also, like I would like to like introduce Thien Pow because just now there's a few like very few people. So now there are more people that is in now. So Thien Pow is from Penang. So he gave a talk like I think last year or not last year. I think the year before. Like he previously gave a talk on frontend also, but last time was on Rust Dominator. So this time mainly on Gamo.
I'm actually much better at the back end from my previous. I mean, the back end in Rust. For my Rust experience, I'm actually much better at the back end. Like the back end, I have done distributed chart back end using Tonic. This one is the Tonic framework in Rust, and then Redis using Proxima X series chain. And then this one, I also did esportmini.com. This one is launched already, and you can actually go to the website. I use Tonic also, gRPC. For UI framework in WSM, I'm actually testing out only as a hobby, and I have done this project. You can look into it. Then to continue just now, for state management, actually just now we talked about the app state already, right? That one is the state management. Then local storage, a sync database, BibleDB. You can look into this lah. I have the database using this one, Resi. See. Okay, then JSON API. API is over here. Okay. Using the rec sum. It's like the request, the other library. Okay, then
So
okay.
request doesn't work for WASM.
This one for
REQ
WASM.
WEST. Doesn't work.
I beg your pardon.
There's a library called REQ WEST that is like
I
popular
think
for requests.
yeah. I think that one also work, but this one is more tested lah, because the developer did it specially for WASM. Then at the end, whether we really want to dive into WASM UI library right now, although I say yes, a lot of reason, but if you look into the JS world right now, right, like the Deno Fresh is super cool. You can look into this one. Super easy to start with, and then I have a sample. This one, yum. You can look into this code also. Is using Deno Fresh. 2 months ago. It's super easy to do. From code to deploy, everything is like seamless lah. They have to make it super easy. And then bun is the replacement for Deno or not Deno bun. So if you say goodbye to Deno, bun is a lot faster. You can look into bun also. So the JS is getting much better and much better. So it's really hard for us to catch up the whole ecosystem lah. If you look into the JS ecosystem evolvement, maybe right now if you do it for hobby, I think yes lah, everything is possible, and actually really fun also. You can just look into my code, the manga code, and then I think that's all today.
Does anyone have any questions?
If you have when you are playing with this one, and the source code is open source. If you have any question, you can actually connect with me lah. I'm on the Discord also. This one, Thien Pow.
A couple of questions. So, like how do you is there anything to help debugging Like because like Vue have the Vue tools to debug, and then React, I think there's also like React debugging or something. Angular also have something like that.
It's actually built-in for Rush. You see, let's say this one I make a bug. Wait, I haven't saved. See? Immediately it show you the problem already. See? This is the good thing if you build in Rush. It's much better than debugging JS.
So you don't like go to the JS and then press like invoke a debugger and then debug
No. You just debug from here.
when you compile.
Just debug the Rush.
So you don't have to need to like debug on runtime.
No need lah. If you want to look into the developer tools, you just look over here lah. Console.
So there's no like source map or
What you mean source map?
source map as in like the JavaScript. I think JavaScript and CSS sometimes there's source map like to map the code, like map the CSS part or the JavaScript part to the original source code. Like
Because the compile wasm is already a binary so instead of you debug the binary, do the source map debugging, you are debugging directly on the Rush already. You get what I mean? Before it compile, before you deploy, you compile already and then you debug already Like just now, if you have a bug over here,
won't there be some kind of runtime issue where you can't check on compile time?
no, you don't have runtime issue already.
I mean, there's like some parts where you put in string and then you unwrap. Okay, let's say you unwrap, then there's value there, and then it like panic. What happened in that case?
Oh, that one you just do from the code over here. If you want to debug, you just put your console log lor. You do the console log over here lor. Inside the code away.
I'll go for Wasm right now.
Wait, did someone else ask a question?
Oh, maybe I want to ask is there any like?
Can you speak louder? I can't really hear you.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm wondering, is there any like, how's your experience on hot reload UI? Because in React, when you save a file, it just reload the UI in the website.
Yeah, this
easier
one.
for me to iterate.
Okay, I'll show you.
I know you are using trunk, right? But I've tried that once, but it's still very slow for me to.
Yeah, it's not as fast as the JS hot reload. It is actually much slower lah. I agree.
How slow?
Not really very slow. Okay, I just show you the sample. Let's say this one. Bible image here is home. Okay, choose a Bible. Okay, this one. Let's say see, reloaded because you need to compile Rush, because JS is not compiled when you build in JS. They just throw the JS into it. They just minify the JS only. But for Rush, right, they need to compile the Rush code into the WSM like binary. You see this one? So you need to wait a bit lah. So when it compile, see this one?
But
I
for
remove
the
the
normal
choosen.
Rust, there's some tricks to like speed up the compilation time, like using a dynamic, the add dynamic
Yeah,
library.
I was about to ask that thing.
So far, the trunk doesn't have lah. You need to bear with it. It's not really slow mah. If you look at it, when I save it's almost like a few seconds only.
It's not immediate.
It's not immediate lah. This is the problem. See.
So like you don't know like any like there's like dynamic library thing that can speed up the linking time.
No. So far, I don't really know any lah.
All right.
Do you know any available?
Native one,
No,
yes.
that's why I was asking you.
Yeah. So far, I think no lah, because when I joined the Sycamore group, I'm actually one of the most active contributor to the example. See, from the very first example. See. So far, I don't really know any enhancement yet lah.
How's the I18N for Sycamore?
I beg your pardon?
Internationalization.
Oh no, that one depends on your own coding already, the library.
So you don't have like something like I remember Rust have some internationalization library called what? Like
Yeah. You have to use those, no?
So you are using those?
No, I am not using.
Also, you code
Because
your own.
I haven't coded my own also, because I haven't done any production project in Rush UI. As I said earlier, I'm just as a hobby playing with it. You see my previous project, I deal with Set for UI, React for UI. Only backend I'm using Rust. This one also, backend also using Rust.
So like front end still like not very fast for development, but back end is still okay, is it?
Yeah, backend is best lah. Actually, backend is super nice to use Rust already. And then front end, as I said, because a lot of time you need the UI component or animation or nicer library. Also, the JS actually really faster than Wasm right now.
But
So,
how come you know like there's this, what is it called? There's a drawing tool called Figma, but then they rewrite theirs in Rust. I think it's in Rust, it's Wasm. Then it made it faster. There's a website called Figma.
Yeah. That's why I say, if you are doing data visualization, right? Visualization things, if you build in Wasm, it actually much faster than JS. But you have to build everything on your own. The Figma do it on their own. They don't open source the the library for drawing. You see, there's no library available yet. But if you look into JS third-party library for drawing, there's tons of it. You get what I mean? So this is the reason.
Also, mainly your pain point is just the no UI components.
UI components or JS libraries, something like that, or animations. But if you are able to write your own animation, your own drawing tools for visualization or chart or things in Wasm, it's actually much better if you can build lah. But usually this kind of requirement only done by those startup like Figma, that they have the vision and they have the funding to do it. But if you try to get a freelance project or any project, usually all the boss, they want speed. They want short time to finish, to launch. So how you can do it on your own? You cannot, right?
There's also what is that called?
M5 stick, C M5 stick plus, or this TT-Go T display board. I'm using mostly ESP32 because speed, Wi-Fi, and the thin Bluetooth. Don't get me wrong, I'm still using Arduino boards. I'm a school teacher and I teach young 10 years old students how to use Arduino Uno. And yes, I made blinking LED project more than 1,000 times. One day I will be blind. Okay, let's go back to the subject. This device is special because it has this beautiful
Wait,
display.
are you talking
900 by 540.
Wait, let's mute him.
Which looks beautiful. It is very easy to read, and best part
Sorry, let's mute him.
display is that
continue. I still have some question, but I don't remember. I don't remember what was it again. Like, let's say like just now, like when what happens when you panic, like you unwrap something that will panic. Usually Rust panics, right? But what happens in the UI?
In the UI, that's why you do the console log, no? Just now I say console log. Let's see if I have the console. See, you put the console log. No?
Yeah, but like what happens when it panic? Like before you console log, then you get the panic already. Then like what do you do?
I haven't met such problem.
I saw you have so many unread, so you haven't get a single panic?
I think so. This is the good thing if you build in Rust, because a lot of problem is already fixed when you compile it. You hardly having a panic. The most is you have a wrong data, something like that. That's why you need to do console log.
Then can you use something like a dbg macro?
What is DBG macro?
You know Rust have a macro called DBG, right? And then can allows you to easily print out a value in Rust. No, not this.
I don't think you can do that because it will just print to the std out instead of the console.
Yeah, it will be in here, lor. If you do, it will be in the debug console of your IDE.
Oh, that prints to the standard output. It's not like, but you run it on the browser. Like how will it print here?
If you run it on the browser, then you do the console log. This one, the console log.
Yeah, I understand, but like the DBG is on the normal Rust. Normal Rust.
If normal Rust, then it will be showing at the IDE debug console, lor.
Oh, so weird. But the code is executed on browser, like how it shows up here. What it does. Like when you normal Rust code, when you run the DBG, it shows up on the standard error or standard output. I think standard error. But like on browser, they don't have standard error, right? The code is executed on browser. It's not executed on the here.
Correct. I'm not sure. I haven't tried DBG on this project. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because the one like when you debug is like I think it's very useful. So I don't know how it looks like. But how's the mobile integration like? How's the support for mobile?
This one just now the slide. Oh, where is it? This one. There's a cargo mobile. This one. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
This one, cargo mobile. This one. And cargo mobile.
So it works on your project?
No, I haven't tried.
Oh.
You have to integrate it on your own one. Yeah.
I think it's completely different because it looks like it makes a native app instead of like a web.
It's a project that will create the native app with a web view. Then you have to code the web view to point to your local host lor. The patch because your compile code is actually HTML only, right? So the web view call this one, called the HTML. You get what I mean?
No. No.
I mean,
Can
you need
look
to
into this one.
make it from ground up.
You know those JS, right? JS also have similar idea. What they call already? I forgot.
But also the ergonomic is not as good as the JS library, is it? Like for Syscamo and the rest?
Not really. If you are familiar already, right? Like this one, the Sycamore. After you are familiar already, you actually love it because the thing you compile is very nice already. You won't really have a lot of hidden bugs.
So you,
If you code in JS, you will have a lot of weird bugs. You have to find it quite a few hours and then, oh, this is a silly bug, the typo, something like that. But in Rust, no such thing.
oh, is there like a type CSS thing? Like you get to like integrate the HTML and the now you get to integrate the HTML and the JS, like the script part using Rust, or it's like fully typed. But is there like a type CSS part? Like checked by the compiler.
CSS,
Yeah, CSS.
no, that one is depends on the CSS runtime. The one I recommend to install, this one, it doesn't declare. But I think if you install the CSS extension, SCSS, some of it very good one. It will SCSS lin something like this. It will tell you the problem one. If you want, you just use the extension instead of relying on trunk or something like that. You get what I mean? You rely on the IDE.
Understand. So what else? I think I don't have any other question. Is there anyone else that have any other question? Okay, so thank you, Thien Pow. Thank you for the talk.
Hey,
Interesting.
thank you.
Yeah. So thanks a lot, and we'll see we'll see you all like next 2 months later. There will be in the Rust meetup. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
You,
and then you uploaded the slide, right? You have uploaded.
Yeah. I put in this one the Rust talk.
Yeah, and then I'll upload it to the Rust meetup as well. The Rust Malaysia. Okay, now I stop streaming.